What is hair transplant? Most of you guys might be wondering if you should go for hair transplant or Nonu for your hair loss. In this video, we'll walk you through everything you need to know about hair transplantation, when to get a transplant, and if it is really helpful in stopping baldness permanently. Hello everyone, this is Shubhojit and welcome to the official channel of Nonu Care. Hair transplant is a surgical procedure in which a surgeon simply takes out your hair follicles from one region and inserts into another. Interesting part here is the total hair count on your scalp will remain the same even after a successful hair transplant. You are not growing any new hair during this procedure. What is actually happening in this transplant is a mere redistribution of your follicles. Think of it as moving a sapling or a plant from one location to another. As you can see in these images here, hair follicles are extracted from the donor region, which is usually the lower backside of your scalp, and transplanted into the balding area, also called the recipient area. Generally speaking, before opting for a transplant, you should consider a lot of things. Firstly, the skill of the hair transplant surgeon is very important. This is because if the hair follicles is mishandled during the process, then the success rate of the procedure will diminish significantly. Secondly, the success of the hair transplant also depends on the donor region. Hair follicles taken from the backside of the scalp have a higher probability of surviving the transplant. However, in certain cases, if you do not have enough hair on the backside of your scalp, hair from different parts of the body such as chest hair, thigh hair, etc. are also needed. These hair follicles have significantly lower probability of success. Finally, 70 to 80% of your hair regrows after a successful transplant. However, in order to improve the chances of survival and regrowth of hair follicles, many transplant surgeons recommend using hair growth treatments such as minoxidil and finasteride after the transplant. As you can see, there are a lot of things when deciding to opt for a hair transplant, so please be with us throughout the video series and you will learn a great deal about hair transplant and how to improve your chances in getting a successful hair transplant. The first step of a hair transplant is to extract your hair follicles from the donor region. Hair transplants are categorized into two types based on the methods of extracting hair follicles from your donor region. They are follicular unit transplantation (FUT) and follicular unit extraction (FUE). Again, the only difference is the way in which hair follicles are extracted from your donor area. For example, during FUT surgery, a surgeon cuts a strip of skin from the back or side of your scalp and then extracts the hair follicles. This is relatively easier to do as hair follicles are extracted at once from your body. However, if you look at the scalp after transplant, one can see a cut or a scar from the transplant as shown here. Note that the scar won't be visible once your hair grows back in full length. FUT may be a better option if you need a large number of hair follicles grafted. In FUE surgery, your surgeon will remove individual hair follicles directly from your scalp. As each hair follicle is extracted individually, it takes more time and effort from the doctor. So naturally, FUE is costlier. The advantage is the procedure does not leave any scars on your scalp after the process as there are no cuts. FUE also has a quicker healing time and particularly helpful if your hair density in the donor region is poor. After carefully preparing the grafts, the surgeon cleans and numbs the recipient area where the hair follicles will go. The surgeon then creates tiny holes with a needle and delicately places each graft in one of the holes. They will probably get help from other team members as well to plant the grafts. Depending on the size of the transplant or number of hair follicles being transplanted, the process can take about 4 to 8 hours. As you can see, the skill of a hair transplant surgeon is very important in the process. Any mishandling of the grafts while extracting, preparing or replanting might damage the hair follicles and affect the success rate of the transplant. After the surgery, your scalp may be very tender. You may have to take pain medicines for several days. You might also be prescribed to take an antibiotic or an anti-inflammatory drug for a week as well. Most people are able to return to work 2 to 5 days after the operation. Within 2 to 3 weeks after the surgery, the transplanted hair and the surrounding hair might fall out. This is also called shock hair loss and is temporary. Shock hair loss occurs because the recipient area and surrounding hair follicles go into a shock from the surgery. During this time, your skin is trying to accept the incoming hair follicles and also recovering from all the incisions, holes made during the process. Shock hair loss is temporary and you should start to notice new growth in few months. Generally, 60 to 70% transplanted hair grows back in about 6 to 9 months. As I've said this before, it is also very likely that your surgeon may prescribe hair growth medicines during the 6 to 9 months phase to increase the chances of hair regrowth and successful hair transplant. Mostly these medicines include minoxidil and finasteride, which are the only US FDA approved medicines to stop baldness and regrow hair. They help in increasing the blood supply, nutrition to the hair follicles, and ensure hair grows back thicker and stronger. So guys, now you should have a decent understanding of how hair transplant works in theory. In our next video, we'll address one of the most frequently asked questions by men across the globe. Is a hair transplant permanent? Stay tuned. Meanwhile, if you like the video, then please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. You can also leave your suggestions on what topic you want us to make a video next. Thank you.